There is something I want to talk about today that I don't think is said out loud often enough, especially for women with undiagnosed ADHD. It's that very specific kind of shame that gets wired into your body when, as a child, you tried to stand up for yourself and someone made you feel bad for it. It's subtle, but it runs deep, and it affects how you move through the world even now. If you were like me, sensitive, intuitive, maybe a little bit too aware of your environment as a kid, you probably learned really early that speaking up for yourself didn't go over well. Maybe you tried to express when something didn't feel right, or maybe you defended your boundaries in a way that was honest and raw, the way kids naturally do. But instead of being supported or even just heard, you were shut down. Maybe you were told you were rude, dramatic, disrespectful, or worse, made to feel like you hurt someone just by trying to protect your own energy. And the moment of being shamed for defending yourself, it leaves a kind of imprint. It teaches your nervous system that it is not safe to protect yourself, that being good means staying silent, that advocating for your own boundaries will somehow make people leave you, punish you, or reject you. And what's so hard is that this becomes your wiring. This becomes your emotional blueprint. So now, fast forward into adulthood, you are in situations where your boundaries are being crossed. Maybe someone's being passive aggressive or straight up disrespectful, or they keep overstepping what you've made clear, and you feel it. You know it is not right. But instead of speaking up, instead of that fierce protective energy rising in you, you freeze. You hesitate. You phone. You try to stay likable. You try to stay the good one. You swallow it. And then you go home and cry because you abandoned yourself again. That is not weakness. That is not your fault. That is trauma. That is your system doing exactly what it was trained to do to survive. Because here's what most people don't realize. When we were shamed for defending ourselves, we didn't just feel embarrassed, we felt unsafe. The people who were supposed to model protection for us didn't. So our body, our nervous system, had to find another way to feel safe. And for many of us, that meant being pleasing, being quiet, being overly understanding, even when someone else was in the wrong. That's what happens when your inner protector gets wounded. Energetically, it's like your solar plexus, your seat of power and boundary, gets dimmed. Instead of standing tall in your energy, you shrink inwards. You start second guessing your instincts. You start attracting relationships and situations where you are tested again and again because that part of you, the part that's meant to stand up and say no, I deserve better, hasn't been allowed to fully awaken. And for those of us with ADHD, this hits even harder because we already spent so much of our childhood feeling different, too emotional, too intense, too sensitive, too chaotic. So when we were also shamed for having boundaries, it was like a double wound. Not only you are too much, but how dare you to try to protect that too muchness? It's no wonder so many of us grew up afraid of confrontation, afraid of taking up space, afraid of being misunderstood. We've been trying to earn safety by being agreeable our whole lives. But I want to remind you of something you may have forgotten. You have an inner protector. She is still in there. She didn't die. She is just being exiled. She was told for too long that her fire wasn't welcome, that her truth was too loud, that her no wasn't polite enough. But she is not wrong. She is sacred. She is the guardian of your heart, your boundaries, your energy, and she's waiting for you to invite her back. And no, that doesn't mean becoming combative or reactive or angry at the world. That means learning how to tell the truth about what's okay with you and what's not, without apology. That means letting your nervous system know, I've got you now. I'm listening. You don't have to freeze to survive anymore. It means practicing having your own back, even when your voice shakes, even when you are afraid someone will not like you, because you liking you is worth more than all that. When you let your inner protector come home, your energy shifts. You stop attracting tests. You stop bending over backward. You start drawing in people who feel your boundaries, not because you are cold, but because you are rooted. And you start healing the belief that your worth is tied to being pleasing, because it never was. You are allowed to be good to yourself, even if it disappoints someone else. You are allowed to say no, even if it's not perfectly phrased. You are allowed to take up space without shame. And I know it's scary. I know that little girl inside trembles when she thinks someone might think she is bad. But you're not bad, you are becoming whole. And part of becoming whole is letting that sacred, fiery, protective part of you return. And letting her know she's safe now. You don't have to betray yourself to be loved. You don't have to shrink to belong. You just have to come home to yourself. And if no one ever taught you how to do that, we're learning now, together. Thank you for being here. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I read them all. And if you want more videos like this, more soul talks like this, don't forget to subscribe. Sending you so much love and gentleness as you remember who you are.